Bunny had only ever played Tracer across the entirety of his Overwatch career.
That's a very good point.
He'd played in Apex,
that's an excellent point.
He'd only played Tracer.
Yeah.
So the fact now that he's filling in for Soon's shoes, when Soon was playing the McCree for the team, he was playing the Tracer for the team, he was playing the Sombra, he was playing a whole range of different hit-scan heroes.
It's honestly, yeah, it's those
He's
players.
doing a great job.
He's done a fantastic job, Josh. And it's these players who I feel like have stepped out of their comfort zone and still performed. These are the players in my mind that I actually rate incredibly highly. I'm going to players like Striker, like Dante, these guys that have moved out of their comfort role, they specialized a little bit, now they can play a variety of roles. Yeah, I didn't even consider that. Bunny is definitely up there now alongside them.
So, let's get this started. The San Francisco Shock must win Anubis to start this reverse sweep and claim the California Cup. Otherwise, the Valiant will be 5-0 across all meetings with these two teams.
The Shock.
The Valiant would be 5-0 if they win.
Sorry, yes, apologies, Josh, apologies. But here we have it. It's kicking off. Temple of Anubis between these two teams. And a reminder as well, this was Shock's map pick. Seeing them on the attacking side here, looking for openings, and they do bring down Fate. That's a critical one because it means they have the superior respawns, but Nevix getting desuited, not ideal, and this aggression by Valiant means that even if they did pick off Fate, it's not going to matter. And that's that game sense by Valiant kicking in, playing aggressive when they know their main tank's down, buying space, not letting Shock capitalize off it in the slightest.
Fantastic performance by Valiant, and I think it's very interesting to note that a lot of their compositions in the Overwatch League used to be very slow. They loved Orisa Hog, they loved the Mercy. Now, super aggressive. On King's Row defense, they were running a really aggressive defense, a dive-based defense with the Doomfist and the Sombra. So this is a new look Valiant, and they look very impressive with it.
Well, here we have it, trying to set this one up. Sinatra's on his role he was known for, the one role he made a name for himself on the Tracer.
Mr. 150k
That's
with
what
150 health.
Yeah, but it's very difficult in this day and age of Overwatch to try and get value out of Tracer. Much more difficult than it has been in the past, and it's not going to matter anyway when Valiant are really just cleaning up. And again, I use the word often, but clinical is really the best way to describe this kind of play from Valiant.
It certainly is. They know exactly who they need to be focusing in all of these fights, and so far haven't really made many mistakes. But the ultimates are going to start coming up here. And the San Francisco Shock, they haven't really built up towards that EMP very far, but a couple of other ultimates for the Valiant are coming online, and they need to be able to force these ones out to be able to be in a good position for their own counter-attack.
EMP into the backline here would be absolutely beautiful. Both the supports caught out. Fate dives in. Primal Rage used to try and survive the onslaught, and that's both the supports gone. That's beautiful from Valiant once again. They're just really synergizing nicely, using everything in their arsenal to clean up these fights.
Excellent play. Two ultimates used. Two of their most powerful ultimates, to be fair, from the LA Valiant. Primal Rage and an EMP. But they still have a lot left in the bank. This sound barrier from Custa is going to be pretty crucial when Architect gets his EMP up as well. Of course, EMP removes all of the shields that have been applied to people in the sound barrier. But Architect's really struggling to build this up.
Oh boy, yeah, well, there's an opening pick, though. Shock may just have found an opening, or it's not quite enough anyway. Fate was a recipient of that nano boost, and he collects 2 kills onto both the supports of Shock. No more healing, no more sustain for them now. They're just going to try and get these picks any way they can. Fate is being body blocked, protected by the rest of his team here. Space doing a brilliant job of that one, and it seems like still Valiant are holding on despite their crucial opening pick there onto Izayaki.
With only a minute left, Architect has now built up to his EMP, so they have the ultimates that they now need to win the fight. But Bunny again has his. Whichever team takes the initiative is likely to come out the victors of this fight. And whoever comes out the victor is looking good for this round.
EMP used early there by Bunny, and Fate again, he's jumped straight onto the back. Moth and Sleepy are down and out. EMP forced out by Architect. He needs to turn this one around. There's only 36 seconds remaining, and he might have just done it with the help of his team. Now they're finding the picks here. Self-destruct sent in, brings down Custa. Can't quite evade it in the nick of time. 26 seconds remaining. The kills flowing in for Shock, and again, just about managing to win out this fight again. And it's coming down to the final moments, it seems, very often in these matches.
It's coming down to the wire every single time with the San Francisco Shock's offenses. Sleepy here pushing forward slightly. He's going to be able to scout for the rest of his team. Make sure that there's no last-second defense from Fate with his Primal Rage. But no, Valiant happy just to sit on point B here. And the swap up in terms of composition for the San Francisco Shock, they're going towards a triple tank, triple support, keeping Sleepy with his Transcendence available. This could be a snowball if they execute correctly.
Yep, and it all comes down to this. How are they going to execute this triple tank, triple support? Soundbarrier used early on, connects onto all 5 of them. Moving into the backline, Sleepy taking names, using the Transcendence. He's keeping that Discord Orb as well to one of the targets. That's that next level plays that you see quite often with these players. And they are finding the picks, and this is it, Josh. The snowball potential, like you mentioned. Not only that, they got the hacked health pack as well, just under the bridge, which means no more sustain coming out from Valiant just there. See the Meteor Strike, Agilities does get a bit of value at that one. Seismic Slam into the backlines means he's going to be able to heal himself back up, but still an even exchange. But the longer this fight goes on, the worse it will be for Shock.
Well, the worse it will be for Shock indeed. Bunny now has his EMP available.
Oh boy.
Can do whatever he likes, but there's no need for it. Can get hacks out, can get picks in the backline. And of course, Bunny has hacked that health kit underneath the bridge that connects these two. So whenever Shock, the fight gets messy, they're not able to retreat under there and get that to beef up their tanks again.
Yeah.
So they've got to be very decisive with how they engage. They did it well last time. They were able to pick off Custa super early, but everybody split apart. They had to go all the way back to the backlines to kill Izayaki again. So Shock just need to dominate the point.
Well, they've already got the positioning straight up there, but Bunny is ready and waiting. EMP unleashes it, doesn't catch Sleepy, could be critical, and there you have it. Not catching Sleepy may have just been a nail in the coffin as he gets the Transcendence up. He's keeping his team up. Fate, again, recipient of this nano boost, but stunned with the Earth Shatter. Smurf is going to be able to connect onto him, and it looks entirely winnable right now for this squad. Custa, though, going to start to try and salvage this fight for the rest of his team, using that Transcendence, keeping them up. And Sinatraa now unleashing the Graviton Surge. Only connects onto Fate, and they do manage to take him out. Still a winnable scenario. Shock slamming this one all the way home, using a Soundbarrier for the damage mitigation. The self-destruct will push them off the point. Only one player on there, and there you have it. Shock managed to capitalize off it. They're going to cap up the second checkpoint.
Excellent offense when all's said and done from the San Francisco Shock on point B. They had a plan going into it. They knew immediately that they were going to switch to a triple tank, triple support composition, and they had a couple of reasonably good engagements. In the end, it was that missed EMP that allowed Sleepy to survive and use the Transcendence that won it for them. It meant that EMP that could have been great for, you know, a messy fight that happened with only a minute left on the clock, instead became an initiator that was fairly useless coming out from Bunny. Just a slight miss of the distance. I think someone's drawn a portrait of you, Bren.
I mean, I can't come back at that, mate. I really can't, you know. Handsome Squidward, there you go. I'll take that, mate. I'll take that any day of the week, don't worry.
There you go.
That chiseled jawline, beautiful.
I wouldn't call that jawline chiseled.
It was chiseled, mate. Did you see it? It was practically square. Nothing wrong with that.
Chiseled by an amateur sculptor.
Well, there we have it. We're going to see sides are going to be swapped around a little bit. Shock, again, they love this setup. They love this defense. This is the standard. We saw it on King's Row. We saw it on Anubis. You see it all the time in the Overwatch League, or we did in the Overwatch League Season 1. This Orisa high ground defense, along with the Widowmaker, sitting right back, the Junkrat as well. This is a classic defense coming out by Shock.
Definitely is. We've seen some teams run it with the Roadhog instead of the Brigitte. Teams used to run it with a Zenyatta instead of the Brigitte. But I like this setup in general for the San Francisco Shock. They've got great stuns if they're able to, if Valiant dive them, which it looks like they will definitely be doing.
Here we have it. They're moving out.
So the strategy here for the LA Valiant is to get Agilities into position behind them and to make sure that Bunny's in position as well. It should be easier for Bunny because he can just be invisible the entire time, but he gets picked off there by Architect. Nice prediction, I think, as he was coming through the right-hand side.
Yeah, that was a damage-boosted mine that did the brunt work there. But Sinatra's going to be looking for any pick he possibly can get here. Just trying to see if he can get one of those one-shot kills. With the damage boost, it's very easy to do. You don't even have to fully charge up your rifle. You just go to town, but it's just ready and waiting, and this is what we see. I mean, if you're getting picked like that, it's not ideal. The entire way you even win this first point on Anubis, teams have to set up the dive. They have to set up their offense. So you have to get Bunny and Agilities into position.
Ideally, you would want Agilities to go through the left-hand side from this perspective and get around behind them, but that's being monitored by Sleepy, so that's not an option. So instead, what they're looking to do is get Bunny in behind, get a hack onto somebody, and just dive straight down the middle. So it's all down to Bunny here. Essentially, by playing this Brigitte on the right-hand side, it's stopping Agilities getting into any kind of position. In we go. The Nano Boost has been built up fairly quickly here, actually.
Yeah, he's going to be looking for any picks he can possibly get, but every target he locks onto has the mobility to escape, and Fate has been ran into the corner here by Nevix, taken out, but Moth going down could create an opening for them. Agilities is finding that one, and if there's a fast reset here by Valiant, they're going to be in an okay scenario, but the question is they've got to be able to try and find at least a kill or reset fast, otherwise that pick onto Moth is going to be useless. He's going to be able to get straight back into the fight.
Yeah, and he absolutely will be. With Izayaki and Agilities going down there, 10-second respawn for both of them is going to allow Moth to reconnect with the rest of his team. So LA Valiant, they've got to hack and use the Nano Boost so that Fate was a big distraction down the middle. But they weren't able to find that opening kill very easily. And the San Francisco Shock are so good at being able to play around each other and kill these dives with the Brigitte.
Oh, here we have it, another initiation coming in, but now that is going to force out a tire by Architect. Massive damage, look at that one. Agilities goes down, almost got the D-Mech as well onto space, but he does eventually get out. And this continuous chain of using these ultimates, of getting these picks onto Bunny, onto Agilities, is what has been winning Shock the fight for now. But now Valiant are building up these ultimates. They're going to have a Nano Blade and an EMP. Yep. Should be go time.
Absolutely. The EMP into Nano Blade, you can see Bunny running around in the backlines here. Who he decides to use this EMP on will be crucial. I think it's about go time. EMP
there you go. EMP into the back, but the Nano Boost, Fate actually took it. It was meant for the side of Agilities, and Agilities got taken down as a result by the self-destruct. That is a critical mistake, and it might actually cost them this push. Fate's going to try his hardest, but they have to reset it. Too many players have gone down. One mistake like that may have just cost them it.
Disastrous there for the LA Valiant, but also the San Francisco Shock knew exactly what was coming. Yes, the EMP is coming in, but you just fire that Diva self-destruct straight up in the air, and they can't get anything done. It's a zoning ultimate just as Bunny uses it, uses the EMP. So fantastic read of the situation by the San Francisco Shock, and that's forced changes from the Valiant. With only 40 seconds left, they have to go towards more tanks. Here comes triple tank, triple support.
Once again, the only ultimate they've got is Space's self-destruct. Could try and get value out of it, but it's going to be risky. Now we see Supercharger laid down. They got nobody to try and take it down. It's a huge amount of damage going to be coming out onto Valiant here. Potential to be picked off, and as you can see, Izayaki gone. Space, though, returns the favor as he takes down Sleepy with that self-destruct, and this might look double for them. However, the Resurrect is out. Sleepy back up in the fight, and then shots need to be hit here by Sinatraa. He needs to try and get some value. Misses his grapple, taken out. Bunny's on a mad one. Takes down both Moth and Sinatraa, and Valiant, again, we thought it was cutting it close for the Shock, but they just about capped this one in the nick of time again. They clean them out, and Shock, they should not have anyone here to recontest this one, which means Valiant, they get a second chance at trying to win this map out.
They really do, and that second chance was very close to failing there. The San Francisco Shock lost Architect when he was about 90% of his way up to a Riptire. If he had got that Riptire, it could have changed the entire game. And Custa got a clutch sound barrier just as Fate was about to die. Here we see the snowball potential once again.
And again, the Nano Boost, I don't know if it was meant to go onto Bunny there. Doesn't really get maximum value out of it, but I know Valiant for a fact they used two ultimates there, the Rally and the Nano Boost, and was shut down immediately by Architect's tire. These Rip Tires, you need to be ready for them realistically, because the rotation of them, all it takes is one Rip Tire, you can completely halt a push just from the sheer presence of it in the map.
And this is why people didn't play very much triple tank, triple support in the Overwatch League Season 1, was because teams are so good at being able to move their positioning around, make sure the Junkrat gets a lot of damage, and then use the Rip Tires to cause chaos in the tank-based team.
Another attempt now for Valiant as we see them using the speed boost, moving up. Nice anti-nade. It's going to connect onto a lot of them. They're looking for a few targets here. Bunny's built up the grab. He's connected onto so many targets, but where is the damage follow-up? Nobody's really there to get the damage in. Doesn't really matter though. They're starting to throw a couple of bodies onto the point. Already almost one tick. We see an Earth Shatter being used as well. Finding the one player, Agility's still up, keeping the damage or keeping the healing going for his team. The shield is there as well, peeling for him. Nobody able to bring him down. Nevix trying his hardest. Meteor Strike into the back, but Valiant, they peel back, they pull back, and it's not going to matter. The sound barrier, they're all healed up, they're ready to go, they're raring. There you have it, the boop not there by Smurf. He tries to get him out the way so that they could at least get one kill. from that self-destruct. But as it stands, Valiant are currently kings on this point. They have found all the picks off the back of it. All they have to do now is clean up the remaining few members, and they are going to get that second checkpoint. And this is going the distance, Josh.
It definitely is. Both teams incredibly close, and both with similar ideas once it comes to checkpoint B. Running that triple tank, triple support, and getting it within the first couple of pushes. Time remaining super close between the two of them. Not that much difference. Slight advantage to the Valiant, but not enough to make a difference. When you think about it, both teams really struggled with their offense on point A.
They did, yeah.
That's what it's going to come down to. Do the Valiant opt to go with that really aggressive defense again? Do the San Francisco Shock aim to go for a triple tank, triple support instead of going for the dive? It's going to be interesting what they go with, because with so little time, you can't really rely on the big ultimates like the Nanoblade and like the
Supercharger even as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
This is interesting indeed, because you can now see the defense coming out from Valiant. And they look like they are going to be sticking with an aggressive defense when it comes to the dive. They've got a Genji, they've got a Sombra, they're going to be calling out a lot of his information, calling out a lot of the engagements for Fate as well. Shock, they're teasing the idea right now. They look like they want to maybe go for a bit of a ghost composition. You can see Space was there right at the doors, just trying to scout out whatever they might be teasing them with. Hopefully would have called out the triple tank, triple support, but we'll see.
Interesting to run it with a Mercy.
Agilities makes a switch as well.
Agilities back on the Doomfist. That was what they were running previously. So I think works better against the triple tank, triple support composition. Fate goes down, tickles them, forces some resources out. That's the bubble gone. So now that Sinatraa has used his bubble, they can start to engage a little harder.
What a Bionade. Oh my goodness, they're going to get absolutely melted from this one. Surely Valiant can clean up off the back of this. All they've got to do is find these last few players, but it's even Stevens. Space is going to get demexed. It's going to be taking away that damage, or the defense matrix, I should say, from the fight. And the point fully controlled up by Shock now. Valiant just poking and prodding, trying to get an ultimate or two. Another bio grenade comes into the back lines, and now it's their time to try and collapse onto them. They pushed them away, but Shock have managed to get at least one tick. There's a win condition for them. Space backing off. Now Fate tries to re-engage with them. A lot of energy up on Sinatraa though. That man is charged up, almost has his own Graviton Surge. 100% and counting, here we have it. Unleashes it out, only going to find the one player, but that might just be enough. Now the EMP, Valiant, looking to turn it around. The Nanoboo is going to be used onto Space, but is the damage there? Not quite. Moth uses his sound barrier, and that's going to mitigate a whole chunk of it right now, and Shock seem to be really winning this one out. They're going to have a bit more time to try and cap the second point.
Very controlled play by both teams, taking that positioning on the low ground with San Francisco Shock as Valiant surrounded them, ready for the ambush. But the ultimates did not come online quick enough. Fate died with his Primal Rage. It was Sinatraa actually that got his ultimate online first, and the whole tide of the battle changed. Can they hold off the snowball? 40 seconds left.
This is it. Right now in the final moments, we're going to see ultimates being flown out here. Space getting one kill with his self-destruct. Here, Shadow used a little bit earlier there by Smurf. And it's even right now in this fight. We're going to see Sinatraa trying to get the kill here onto Custa, trying to get the damage into him. It's not looking quite doable, but there you go. Graviton Surge connects onto two. Easy pickings for him. Brings down both the supports here on the side of Valiant. Valiant still with a couple of ults to use. The EMP finally unleashed. Now Fate needs to try and get something done with his Primal Rage. Just about fades, but this looks salvageable. 8 seconds remaining. Shock have got to perform big if they want any chance of getting this second checkpoint, but it's going to be very tough now that the Valiant respawns are coming in, and there you have it. Ladies and gentlemen, don't quite manage to get it all the way, but the fact that they even managed to cap point A, I think, is actually quite rewarding for them.
Yeah, you got to be happy with that if you're the San Francisco Shock, because both teams struggled to take point A the first time around. And with only a minute and 50 seconds on the clock, San Francisco roll in, play it perfectly. Great Zarya play from Sinatraa, must be said. Fantastic execution on the Graviton Surge as well. They catch Fate before he's got the Primal Rage, destroy him. The question is now, what do they do on their defense, and what do Valiant do on their offense? The only thing that worked for Valiant on point A was that triple tank, triple support. So Shock have got to be expecting it.
We'll see, Josh. We will see. And Shock on the defense are going to be sticking with what appears to be the comp that they ran before. There is still time for them to make minute changes, but
looks like that's the theme they're running with at the very least, though, isn't it?
this sort of spam composition. I'm curious if Valiant are going to be going for the similar approach on their own attack, actually. That's really what's going to be deciding this one. Is sinatraa actually going to stay on the Soldier 76?
That's pretty interesting.
That is a very interesting pick.
I think the idea there is probably that he wants to be able to stay on the high ground and be able to apply a lot of damage onto the LA Valiant as they cross beneath. You can't get much done on the Widowmaker if you're either being dived on quite considerably, or you've got triple tank, triple support, which is what Valiant are going to opt for.
Yeah, they're going to be running out of gates with it. Izayaki on the Ana, that's their flex support. It's the one change that you see most often with this composition is generally with that flex support player. He's going to be keeping his players topped up. Fire grenade going to be used as well. A lot of poke damage though coming in. Look at this Architect, already on 72% to his tire. He's almost built one up, and that's the danger when you run these tank, high HP health pool compositions. When you have something like a Junkrat, Architect's already got a tire. Is he going to be able to use this now?
That was 30
seconds. Insane timing to being able to build that one up. And he's just waiting for them now to go to the low ground. And now here comes the tire. If he gets even one pick, even a D-Mech, it is value. Moving around, he's getting greedy. Oh my goodness! Doesn't matter how many ultimates Valiant going to be using here now, because Architect just got a triple kill off the back of that one.
That's unbelievably good from Architect. He essentially holds that push off all on his own. Huge amount of damage done as Valiant were coming in through the choke point, forced out a ton of resources, did a huge amount of damage, and then just chip shots to get the tire up. And the greed with that tire was so good.
Insanely greedy.
That was amazing. Space was hunting.
He could have got the D-Mech onto Space.
That probably would have been enough, but he wasn't happy with it. He knew that he could get more. Give Space the jukes and dive back down. That was a play and a half.
Well, there we have it. We're going to see a switch up here. Bunny's moved over to the Widowmaker, and he's immediately taken out. Nevix, the halt into it. Bunny was pulled back onto the high ground. They take him out. They've lost the player, but they're still going to continue forward. They realize that Bunny can actually... There you go. He switches over to the Tracer, so he's able to get back into the fight if needs be. And this is it now. It's a dangerous scenario for Valiant. They need to cap this point, and they need to beat the percentage, if they even cap this first point up, that Shocker managed to get on the second checkpoint. It's hard for them. The Earth Shatter comes down, finds one pick. Fate holding the shield, tries to go for the charge. They're going to be using that Fortify, makes them immune to the crowd control abilities, and what a snipe onto the tire. Architect gets no value. That could be the winning moment for them, but Fate's shield goes down. That's going to be Q now for sinatraa to use that tactical visor. There's going to be no defense from it. The Soundbite just coming out a little bit too late there from Custa, and San Francisco Shock seem to be now winning this one out. It looks like Anubis is going to be their playground. They are going to be able to win this as soon as they finish up Space. Nicely done. And this is where the reverse sweep happens, Josh. I called it.
Absolutely, you did. Listen, that was a fantastic performance from the San Francisco Shock. I love their defensive setup. We saw it all the time in the Overwatch League, and that's